mind waiting till we're done that?
Yeah, oh definitely. If you want to be a part of it.
Absolutely, yeah. We're glad that we got all of you here, or else we would have had to do it ourselves, which is very difficult to do with just a handful of people.
So is this the original pole?
It's not the original pole, it's the original location.
Okay.
And so, however, in the 50s, they had actually put the replica flagpole up on this bastion over here. And then they did some excavation work and they find the original cross trace right there. So that's where they actually transfer it to put the replica flagpole there. So every morning when we put it up, we're doing the same spot that the soldiers did in 1814.
Good morning!
Good morning.
Good morning!
Yikes. Let's try that one more time. Good morning!
Good morning.
There it is. Hi, I see you right there. I want to welcome you all to Fort McHenry National Monument and Historic Shrine, the only historic shrine within the National Park Service system. Kind of indicates that something kind of important happened here at one point, right? Maybe, we're not sure. We're going to find out, right?
Yes.
What we're going to do this morning is our morning flag change. This is something we do every morning here at Fort McHenry, weather pending, because of that important thing that happened here in 1814, which resulted in Fort McHenry becoming a national monument and historic shrine. I'm talking about the Battle of Baltimore during the War of 1812, when the British Royal Navy, the largest, most powerful navy in the world at the time, set its sights on the city of Baltimore shortly after invading and burning Washington, D.C. The British would come up the Patapsco River, lay down anchor, and unleash a bombardment onto Fort McHenry, which lasted over 25 hours through the day, into the evening, and then throughout the night. What partially drew them to Fort McHenry was a very large 15-star, 15-stripe Star-Spangled Banner flying above the fort in this exact spot. That flag was 30 by 42 feet. During the evening portion of the bombardment, it began to rain. Imagine all that water on a 30 by 42 foot wool bunting flag. It's going to get a little heavy, right? That flag was taken down. A smaller 17 by 25 foot flag was put up in its place called the Storm Flag. So there were actually two flags that flew here at Fort McHenry during the Battle of Baltimore, both of which inspired Francis Scott Key to write the Star-Spangled Banner. Following the morning of September 14th, 1814, when the guns on both sides fell silent and the British determined that they were not going to be able to get past Fort McHenry in an effort to take Baltimore, because the defenders inside the fort achieved what they set out to do, and that was to keep the fleet from getting past the fort into the city. The British eventually pulled up anchor and they headed out, leaving Baltimore behind. Major Armistead, who was commanding Fort McHenry at the time, decided that as the British fleet was leaving, he was going to raise once again that large 30 by 42 foot flag to send a message of defiance to the British, but also to let the people of Baltimore know that the fort was still in American hands. Because the people of Baltimore are trying to see from their windows and their rooftops, through all the smoke and the haze from the storm, which red, white, and blue flag would be flying over the fort. Could have been the Star-Spangled Banner, could have been the flag for the British. So that larger flag helped them to better see who still had control of the fort. Now, what Major Armistead did not know when he had that flag flown was that somebody else was watching for a flag. Francis Scott Key, who was behind the British fleet, who witnessed the entire bombardment, was also looking for that flag. And when he saw the large 15-star, 15-stripe flag flying over Fort McHenry as the British fleet was sailing away, he was so overcome by what he had experienced in those 25-plus hours that he wrote a poem to remember what he saw. A lot of you, I'm sure, are going to take some photos here, take some selfies. I'm sure had Francis Scott Key had an iPhone, he would have taken some selfies, but he didn't. He wrote a poem instead. Originally entitled The Defense of Fort McHenry, it was later put to song, changed to the Star Spangled Banner, and it became the national anthem of the United States in 1931. In 1948, President Harry S. Truman issued a proclamation stating that Fort McHenry must always fly an American flag, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. We already have that going on up here, right? We have our modern day 50-star, 13-stripe flag flying. What President Truman did not specify in that proclamation was which style of American flag must be flown here. So when the weather permits, we fly a replica of the Star Spangled Banner over Fort McHenry. A lot of this is weather dependent, as I mentioned. We don't have enough wind to fly replicas of the garrison flag or the storm flag, so we're going to be flying a smaller 10 by 14 foot replica of the Star Spangled Banner. And I'm going to need some help as we unfold this flag and get it ready to go up the line. So if I can have a few people join us with Ranger Aaron in the grassy area to help us unfold this flag. And I'm also going to need one or two folks to help my friend Joanne over here, my friend Tom, take down our modern day flag.
Hey, girl. Deja, here you go.
Alright guys, so what I need to do is, I'm going to need two lines. See how Ranger Aaron and I are standing shoulder to shoulder? We need two lines facing each other, going shoulder to shoulder. So you guys got it. You want to go shoulder to shoulder with Aaron? Alright, and we'll follow this as we move in. And my friends on the end, you're going to grab flag and grab two, okay?
You want to help him too? Is that what you're saying?
All right, super important. What do we not want to do with this flag?
Let it touch the ground.
Let it touch the ground.
Let's say we'll have to go.
I know it's super hot out here, so we're not going to keep you out here long, okay? All right. That one there, I think this is upside down, but we'll get through it with a small flag.
We still have to help him too.
No, he's okay.
Oh, I thought you
So you want to unfold
Step over here.
and just keep unfolding. Just got a little flip it around the way. There we go. If it's upside down, just flip it, Aaron. I think that might be happening.
All right.
I think it got twisted.
Okay.
Yeah. There we go. All right. I think it's
All right, guys. So this flag looks a little bit different from the one that we have up now and the one that you normally see. Who here can tell me why/how? All right. Awesome. How many number of stars? Oh, hang on one second. How many number of stars? 15. Very good.
I know why.
Oh, hang tight one sec, bud. All right. Can somebody? She mentioned the stripes as well. Can somebody tell me how many stripes we got? Close, but I'll get your why in a second. 15 stripes. Why?
Because there's only a certain amount of countries in the United States before 1K.
Well, we're gonna go with states, but you know that's pretty good. Nicely done. All right, so we have when this flag is adopted in 1795, we had 15 states, 13 original colonies, but 15 states. So we've added how many? 2. Man, you're killing it. Good job. So we've added 2 states outside the original 13.
Yeah.
Who wants to take the guess the state game, or who wants to play the guess the state game? Civil War.
Kentucky.
Vermont, Kentucky. Thank you, gentlemen. That is exactly correct. So our states of Vermont, Kentucky. This is going to go over, okay?
Yep.
Thank you. So Vermont and Kentucky are added. Like I said, this flag is adopted in 1795. It's the second version of the U.S. flag. So 1795, War of 1812. There's a little bit of a gap in there. So we actually add more states in between when we make this flag and the War of 1812. In fact, we add 3 more. So this flag does not accurately represent how many states are actually in the Union during the War of 1812. So we have 3 more. Let's play the game again. Who wants to guess the 3 that aren't on the flag anymore? That aren't on the flag at that time?
Tennessee.
Wow, you guys are good. Tennessee, Louisiana, that leaves one more, which Ohio. Exactly right. So later on, they realized that maybe adding a state of stripe every time that we add a state is not going to work out so well. Imagine, 50 red and white alternating stripes. Kind of look pretty silly from far away, right? Might look a little pink. Exactly. So I think it's probably a good call. They go back to the original 13 stripes for the original 13 colonies, then they just add a star every time. And I think we are good to go, guys. Thank you so much for listening.
Do we have any veterans or active service members with us today? Anyone else would like to help us raise a flag? All
right, now my friends, holding the flag, when you start to feel this tug at your fingers, I need you to let it go, okay? Because if for whatever reason you end up falling off the top of the flagpole, I don't have a ladder big enough to get you down, and it's super hot up there, all right? When you feel a tug, let it go.
Thanks for watching. Throw a comment down below and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.